Ah yes, Prey. This game was commissioned by my good friend and long-term supporter, name not found 404. Thank you, my man, and also check out his channel and Twitch. He hosts some awesome streams. Anyway, whether I should feel thankful or resentful for this commission, we will find out soon. So, about Prey. Here's the fun fact. I initially thought it was some kind of a spiritual successor to the 2006 game also named Prey, but it turns out it's not. The developers of this game intended it to be a spiritual successor to the System or BioShock games, which becomes quite evident right from the start. I also assumed that obtaining the Platinum trophy would be relatively easy here, but well, let's delve into a quick overview. So, we'll need to play through the game 2 or 3 times. In general, the first playthrough will be the proper one. I will attempt to finish the game without utilizing any of the Typhon abilities, save all humans, complete all side quests, and collect all items. This should earn us most of the game's achievements. For the second playthrough, we'll go all out, kill all humans and save scum the ending to obtain both Split Affinity and No Needles achievements in one go, cause I really doubt I'll be eager to endure a third playthrough of this game. And afterwards, we'll also delve into the DLC. So, I don't want to waste any time here, so let's dive straight into Prey. So we begin the game as Morgan Yu. I opted to the female version because I believe women are generally better at mimicry than men, and upon awakening, it's our first day on the job. And realizing that it's essentially a reflection of my real life, where I'm not just playing games but going to work, I attempt the only logical course of action that is possible. And yes, the game rewards me with an achievement. What a way to open a trophy count. Following this, we undergo some tests and I genuinely attempt to hide behind a chair in a corner of an empty room. Afterwards, we are demonstrated what it's like to consume 7 cups of coffee before noon and we reset back to the beginning of the day, eventually uncovering that we live in a simulated reality. The moment when you break the glass in your apartment is genuinely awesome. We receive a message from January urging us to make our way to the lobby. During this revelation, we also discover that we are on a space station that has been invaded by aliens. Well, that's quite a twist. And after reaching the lobby, we obtain our first neuro mode and earn our next achievement, aptly named Know Thyself.
Look at this! Good job, my song!
I'm gay.
It seems like the developers might have drawn inspiration from that particular Futurama episode, if you remember that one. And perhaps also from the Total Recall, given that we get to watch a video that we recorded for our future selves, if that makes any sense. Our brother, Alex, abruptly cuts off the video transmission. It appears he may have aligned himself with the aliens, or maybe he's just generally being an asshole, it's not clear at this point. Now, we have to traverse half of the station to repair the feed and discover the conclusion of the video. The space station's YouTube server is situated in the hardware labs. We make our way there, navigating various obstacles, and even venture into outer space to retrieve a card from Dr. Calvino. While there, we also kill our first enemy while using combat focus to get Dead Calm achievement. At the same time, we successfully restored the video feed and discovered Dr. Calvino's secret stash while watching some recordings. This discovery earns us the Coffee Break achievement. And by that point, I thought I had become quite adept at the game's mechanics. However, it seems that the game decided I was getting too confident and threw some unkillable phantoms at me when I returned to the lobby. Eventually, I gave up on the confrontation and simply leaped across the suspended construction, landing right inside the office window. Perhaps that was the intended approach, or maybe I'm just smarter than I thought, I don't know. We conclude watching the video where we instruct ourselves to destroy the station along with all the aliens on it. Additionally, we meet January in person, who happens to be a robot backup of our own consciousness. This encounter also unlocks the Facsimile achievement, one of the few story-related trophies in the game. So, to destroy the station, we need 2 arming keys. We had one, but our brother Alex destroyed it, so we need to get the backup from the deep storage facility. And of course, we need to go around the whole station to get there, because the elevator in the main lobby is not working. The game opens up from this point, and there are a lot of optional areas that we can explore. I won't go into many details, as it will take a lot of time. I also start doing side quests, but most of them are locked behind a skill levels where you require level 4 hacking or level 3 lifting. So anyway, we go to Psychotronics where we pick up the Psychoscope that we definitely won't use in this playthrough. We also pick up a lot of cool stuff while exploring, like a shotgun or a recycler charge. At some point I find a sealed window and a note that says that there are a lot of mimics inside. I distract them with a Typhon lure and try to kill them all in one go with the recycler charge, but instead I get a Reduce, Reuse, Recycle achievement for recycling 20 items with one charge. Well, that's pretty nice. I make a few more attempts and eventually with a lucky throw I manage to take out all 5 mimics with one charge, earning the Mimic Massacre achievement. Next, we rescue the person in the test chamber, which should earn us some empathic points, so we can complete the game in the most humane way possible. There's also an achievement for that, of course. Following that, we venture into GUTS, which stands for the Gravity Utility Tunnel System, and have some quality time dealing with cystoids. I grab the Q-beam, take on our first Weaver, and finally make it to the Arboretum. We conduct a brief exploration of the Arboretum and encounter our first nightmare, which I manage to avoid by hiding in the medbay. I also attempt to break into Alex's office using the glue gun to get up the elevator shaft, but the safe is obstructed by a crate and his computer requires hacking level 4 security clearance, so it seems like I'm out of luck for now. On a side note, I realized much later in the game that you can actually use recycle charges to eliminate obstacles that you cannot move, but I did not think about that at that time. We opt to head straight to deep storage, but as expected, it's locked. To gain access there, we need to collect voice samples from Daniel Shaw in the crew quarters. We also have a few side quests to tackle there, so we'll make our way there immediately. The crew member cabins offer plenty of loot, and because we've been meticulously exploring every area, we've managed to collect most of the keycards. In one of the cabins, we hack into a computer and earn the Operator achievement for completing 20 hacks. We successfully collect the voice samples, encounter a hostile Ukrainian cook who tries to take us down, and eventually make our way out of the crew quarters. While exploring, I receive a notification indicating that I can harvest a superfruit I had previously planted as part of a side quest. We head to the greenhouse, eat the fruit right off the bush, and unlock the TranStar Gourmand achievement. And right after that, we gain entry to deep storage using Daniel's voice samples. Upon arriving there, we promptly receive the Open Says She achievement. We obtain the fabrication plan from deep storage and craft the new key we need. Given that Alex has sealed us inside, we must find an alternative route through the open space. While in space, we receive a call from Sarah Elazar, the chief security officer, who informs us about accessing the cargo bay area, although part of it was destroyed. Additionally, we receive a distress call from Dr. Ingwe, who is trapped inside a cargo crate drifting in space. Rescuing him serves a dual purpose: security entry to the cargo bay by docking his crate and creating a sort of airlock to enter, and earning the Adrift achievement for saving him in the first place. Inside the cargo bay, we encounter numerous NPCs who are defending their positions. I can't resist going through their belongings and indulging in some of their food supplies. At one point, we stumble upon another Starbender book chapter that actually completes the Prism Master achievement for reading the entire Starbender series. Nice! Sarah assigns us several tasks to prepare the cargo bay for a robust defense. We successfully restore power to the bay area, get the fabricator operational, and retrieve the turret eradicator fabrication plan from the damaged part of the cargo bay. Before we can open the gates and engage in battle with the Typhon, we need to transport 3 eradicator turrets to the entrance. However, I accidentally break one while moving it using the forklift, and fortunately I promptly repair it with some spare parts. And there you have it, we unlock the Engineer achievement for repairing 20 items. With our defenses fully prepared, we open the gates and swiftly dispatch the Typhon with a barrage of bullets, ensuring that no humans die during the fight. This accomplishment earns us the Gates of Hell achievement.
This is the last one. What's next? Well, that's some fine shooting, if I do say.
From that point, we are free to explore the cargo bay thoroughly. Our journey then leads us to the power plant, where we encounter Michaela Illusion, who is paralyzed due to illness. In a bid to help her, we embark on a rather lengthy journey all the way back to the cargo bay, venture into outer space to retrieve her booster shot, and then return to administer it. Our efforts save her, earning us a Friend in Need achievement.
Oh, God, Morgan. You surprise the hell out of me sometimes.
And if that wasn't enough, right after completing this mission, I noticed an airlock in the same room. It dawns on me that I didn't need to go all the way back to cargo bay in the first place. Oh well, live and learn. We descend into the power plant and initiate a complete station restart to lift the lockdown, granting us the freedom to roam the station without any obstacles. Alex calls us and says that we deserve to know the truth because of how badass we are and invites us to his office. Upon returning to the Telos 1 lobby, a special event unfolds where January, Dr. Ingwe and Michaela all meet in our office. This heartwarming encounter results in us earning the Brain Trust achievement for successfully saving most of the major characters.
You're alive.
Igre? You made it? Chief Engineer Illusion. What the hell? Morgan, is that...
No, that is...
I am January.
And from this point onward, I decide to systemically explore the entire station to collect most of the items. Typically, I proceed section by section, searching for bodies, attempting to unlock all doors, hacking terminals, and so on. I also go back to Neuromode division and enter volunteer quarters to find Lucas, the Ukrainian killer chef guy, whereabouts. He appears to be sitting in the escape pod at the Talos Bridge, so we go there, listen to his puny monologue, and kill him by setting off the recycler charge trap he put right next to him. Since, technically, the trap kills him and not us, we not only get the best served cold achievement, but also preserve our pacifist run with 0 humans killed. Well, I don't know how it works, but it works. Simultaneously, we receive a quest to modify the satellite outside of Talos, which eventually provides us with a means to repel the nightmare that has been haunting us. Before long, we encounter the nightmare, and by playing the required recording, we make it vanish. It's rather amusing how it simply erases itself from existence without any special effects. This event also earns us the You Reign achievement. During our thorough exploration, we successfully locate all 6 of the smuggler's stashes. It's worth noting that they are cleverly hidden behind the red fire alarms on the walls, so if you're observant enough, you'll come across all of them naturally as you progress through the game. Upon finding the last stash, we are rewarded with the Black Market achievement. And at this point, I've successfully located almost all of the crew members, with only one area left unexplored, the shuttle bay. Upon arriving there, I quickly discover the remains of the deceased crew members, and this accomplishment nets us the Missing Persons achievement. To be honest, I had some concerns about this achievement, particularly regarding humans who were disintegrated, like the one inside the greenhouse and Luca, who I eliminated myself. However, thankfully the game didn't count those instances against me, and I earned this achievement without too much grinding. Following that, I make a quick trip to the Arboretum and enter Alex's escape pod. This essentially marks the end of the game and can be seen as a bad ending. However, this choice also rewards us with the Abandoned Ship achievement.
We failed. This isn't the one.
Before concluding our adventure, we make sure to complete the remaining side quests involving Dr. Ingwe and Michaela. For Dr. Ingwe, we return Gustav Leitner's Connectome, which earns us the Gift to the World achievement. And for Michaela, we decide to show her the recording of her father's demise during the early experiments conducted by Morgan and other scientists. This action unlocks the Self-Incriminating achievement.
And you knew?
And after realizing that we still lack a sufficient number of emails and voice recording, I meticulously backtrack through each area, searching for any computers that may contain overlooked unread emails. Eventually, while in the Psychotronics section, I come across a closed room that I couldn't access earlier. While contemplating how to gain entry, I spot a recording on a table within reach. This recording turns out to be the final piece we needed, earning us the Psychometry achievement. Right after that, I decide to fabricate the Boltcaster because it turns out you can actually use it to interact with buttons. While attempting to open a door of a room by pressing the correct button on the computer screen, I somehow ended up opening unread emails with it. Surprisingly, those emails were the final ones needed to unlock the Press Sneak achievement. Funny how that works out sometimes. And following that, I make the decision to save and then go all out in order to swiftly earn most of the remaining small achievements. We upgrade one of the weapons to its maximum potential, completing the requirements for the Cold Dead Hands achievement. Then we recycle ourselves with a recycler charge to get Intrinsic Value achievement. And now it's time to get some achievements connected to Typhon skills. First of all, we get Know Thine Enemy for getting our first Typhon skill. Then we get It's Alive by summoning our first Phantom. We also get Shapeshifter for turning into 20 different objects. We also throw a half-dead Phantom in the air to get T1 up. And launch ourselves from Alex's roof in Arboretum to get Escape Velocity. We also scan our own after image to get a different side of you achievement. By the way, you can do it only with a maxed out skill. The first level skill keeps an after image for only 4 seconds, which is too short to scan it. Returning to the Neuromod division, we revisit the test we initially encountered at the beginning of the game. With our newfound Typhon abilities, this particular test suddenly makes much more sense. We kinetic blast the boxes out of our path, transform into a chair to conceal ourselves in the second room, and utilize telekinesis to activate the button in the third room. Completing this enjoyable little challenge also rewards us with the Makeup Exam achievement. We also take the opportunity to shock 2 operators with a single lightning zap, successfully earning the Ball Lightning achievement. It is noteworthy that while many guides might suggest doing this on enemy operators, it's equally feasible with friendly operators, as demonstrated. On the story front, and yes, this game still has a story, by the way, we attempt to meet with Alex, but the space station suddenly falls under the control of Walter Dahl. He's a man sent by Morgan and Alex's parents with a mission to eliminate everyone aboard the ship. Our task becomes clear: eliminate Dahl, especially as he takes control of all operator stations on Telos, leading to the production of troublesome military operators. But Dr. Ingwe suggests an alternative. Instead of killing Dahl, we could capture him and erase some of his neuromodes, wiping his memory and preventing him from recalling his mission. This way, he could potentially transport everyone back home on his shuttle. Following this plan, we locate Dahl in the air filtration section, incapacitate him with a zap gun and perform aptoregressive neurotomy on him, which results in the This Never Happened achievement. Our meeting with Alex is once again interrupted, this time by a massive apex typhon enveloping the station. This catastrophe causes severe damage to the Arboretum and triggers microgravity, incapacitating Alex. We face a choice: we can either save him by returning him to the bunker or leave him behind to perish. And additionally, while in the bunker, we come across the final voice recording that Morgan left to herself, earning us the Dear Future Self achievement. Since it appears that there are no mind-controlled humans left in this playthrough to complete the Deprogramming and Thoughts Can Kill achievement tied to Typhon abilities, I decide to reserve those for our second playthrough. However, I do come across some mimics, and by mimicking one of the hidden mimics, we successfully unlock the Mimesis or Mimesis achievement. I would rather call it Mimeception, but you know. So, eventually I decide to follow Alex's ending route and refrain from destroying the station. This choice results in January locking the terminal, and to conclude the game, we must destroy her. It's a bit of a bittersweet moment, to be honest, but it's the path that we've chosen. And it kinda triggered some Mass Effect PTSD that I thought was hidden very, very deep within my mind.
Do you remember the question that caused the creators to attack us, Talizora? Does this unit have a soul?
Yeah. And by killing January, we also receive Suicide by Proxy achievement. Rest in peace, January. This unit has a soul. So by using the null wave transmitter, we bring the game to its conclusion. Since we managed to refrain from killing any humans throughout the playthrough, we instantly earned the Do No Harm achievement. And in the post-credit scene, it is revealed that this was all a simulation based on the real memories of Morgan, and we appear to be some kind of a Typhon-human hybrid. Alex and 4 robots, who seem to be Ingwe, Michaela, Sarah and Danielle, reflect on our journey and deem us worthy of survival, since we saved everyone within the simulation. To be honest, I had a slight understanding that everything was a simulation when I experienced the escape ending. There is a brief dialogue in which Alex mentioned that it's not the one, and someone responds with start over again, so it kinda sold it off. Overall, it's a rather satisfying ending, and everything actually makes complete sense now. Interestingly, taking this psychopathic route and eliminating everyone also aligns more logically with the narrative. And this is precisely what we plan to do next. We embark on another playthrough, aiming to kill all humans and destroy the station. Some of the achievements we need to obtain are perfectly suited for this path, so let's dive right in.
If it were one of my officers, I would give it a commendation.
In our second playthrough, we waste no time and swiftly reach the trauma center to eliminate the unfortunate individual who was mind-controlled and placed in quarantine. We also ruthlessly eject Emmanuel De Silva and Frank Jones from a malfunctioning escape shuttle, resulting in their demise as they collide with a closed door. In Psychotronics, we liberate Aaron Ingram from his cell and with brutal efficiency end his life with a wrench right after he tells us the security room code. It's undeniably a dark path we are following, but strangely, there is a twisted sense of enjoyment in it. I mean, we're not following any common or moral sense here, which is bad, but kinda liberating.
But it's not because they're evil. It's because they can't do otherwise. You know what we discovered? They lack mirror neurons.
Moving on, we proceed to the Arboretum, where we end the lives of 3 mind-controlled humans. Finally, we arrive at the crew quarters, which houses most of the remaining survivors. And actually, before continuing, I create a manual save and acquire some Typhon skills. This allows us to unlock the Thoughts Can Kill achievement by using Psychoshock on a human and the Deprogramming achievement by using Mindjack to free a mind-controlled human or a crew member. Loading back to the moment where we have no Typhon skills, and by the way, we refrain from leveling up any skills in order to work toward obtaining the No Needles achievement in the end. In a crew quarters, we go on a ruthless spree, ending the lives of 19 more unfortunate humans. We make sure to save Dr. Ingwe, as we have plans for him later. Next, we eliminate Michaela in the power plant, and once Dr. Ingwe relocates to our office, we backtrack to the cargo bay and kill all the guards and Sarah Elazar, bringing our body count to 35.
Bitch, I'm stylish. Glock talk, big t-shirt, Billy. Watch on my wrist, but I want that diamond. Niggas talk crazy when I pull up in sight. Mile high, run that shit back, bitch, I'm stylish. Glock talk, big t-shirt, Billy. Watch on my wrist, but I want that diamond. Niggas talk crazy when I pull up in sight. Mile high, fuck up first class,
And upon Dahl's arrival, we unexpectedly receive a hidden side quest from him. Essentially, he acknowledges that we have already completed most of his mission and proposes that we collaborate further. Dahl assigns us the grim task of killing 4 more humans in the life support area, which we carry out, of course. We'll later meet Dahl in the shuttle bay, but predictably he intends to eliminate us as well. Fortunately, we thwart his plans by stunning him with a taser and having Dr. Ingwe transport him to the Neuromod division. Finally, we encounter Alex, whom we promptly batter to death with a wrench, earning us the Push the Fat Guy achievement.
Billy. Watch on my wrist, but I want that diamond. Niggas talk crazy when I pull up in sight. Mile high, run that shit back, bitch, I'm stylish.
Shortly thereafter, we return to Dr. Ingwe and Dal in Neuromod division and perform a surgery on the mercenary. We save first and proceed to kill them both, getting the I and It achievement, signifying the killing of all humans aboard Talos 1. And after returning to the previous save, this time we decide to spare Dal and only eliminate Dr. Ingwe. Dal reacts to this, expressing a lack of surprise and proposing that we return to Earth together.
I can only assume you had a good reason for that.
We then proceed to the power plant to initiate the self-destruction sequence for the station. In a rush, we make our way back to the shuttle. Upon entering the shuttle, we achieve the awkward ride home achievement for departing with only Dal. Immediately afterward, we also unlock the No Needles achievement for completing the game without leveling any skills. And lastly, we load the game once more right before entering the shuttle. This time, we level up a random Typhon skill and proceed to finish the game again. As a result, we earned the Split Affinity achievement for seemingly completed the game once with only human abilities, which was our first playthrough, and a second time with only Typhon abilities. And of course, to top it off, we also achieve a Platinum trophy, named TranStar Employee of the Year. Wow, what a journey. But I will leave the closing opinion for later, since we also need to do the Moon Crash DLC, so without further ado, let's jump right in. To be completely honest, I was a bit tired from playing the base game and seriously considered not playing the DLC. But luckily, I gave Moon Crash a shot, and it turned out to be fantastic. Moon Crash is a completely separate story that expands the Prey universe further. We take on the role of an unnamed hacker known as M13, who appears to be stranded on a spy satellite orbiting the moon. We work for Kazma, another super organization and the main rival of TranStar. Our handler, Basilisk, contacts us and informs us that we must complete a contract, after which we can return to Earth and reunite with our family. So, what's our mission? We need to go through a series of simulations that replicate events that occurred on the TranStar moon base known as Pythias. Like Talos 1, Pythias experienced a typhoon outbreak, and our task is to uncover what happened and why. We can play as 5 different characters, each with their unique abilities and stories. The first one will be Adrius Alekna, a volunteer with strong psionic abilities. The second one is John Winslow, an engineer who's a jack of all trades. Then we have Vijay Bhatia, a security officer skilled with firearms, and of course Riley Yu, the cousin of Alex and Morgan Yu and the director of the Pythias facility. And also we have a 5th character named Claire Wheaton, the janitor, who we will discuss a bit later. The DLC is played in a roguelike fashion. We enter a simulation, collect resources and neuromods and level up our characters. We start with only the volunteer unlocked and must find the corpses of other characters within the game to unlock them. The neuromods we install carry over to subsequent runs, making our characters progressively stronger. In addition to in-game quests, we also have a list of Kazma orders, which are essentially tasks we must complete to progress throughout the game. These include unlocking all characters and completing their respective storylines. Our primary goal is to successfully escape the station with each character, which involves using different escape methods tailored to each character's abilities. Now, let's dive into our runs. We begin as the volunteer, essentially a quick tutorial run. During this run, we also unlock the engineer, who turns out to be a massive powerhouse. One of her main abilities is summoning a ballistic turret that can be really powerful if placed strategically. And during our first engineer run, we head to the crater, a central hub area in the game, connecting the other 3 facilities of Pythias: Labs, Crew Annex and Moonworks. The crater is always under threat from the Moonshark, a new boss-like enemy in the DLC. However, with the engineer, it goes something like this. And of course, with the Moonshark defeated by the turret, we immediately earn our first achievement of the DLC, Apex Predator. We continue throughout several subsequent runs, unlocking the director and security officer along the way. During this time, I aim to gather as many neuromodes as possible with the engineer and then transfer them to other characters to help level them up. At some point, we also managed to discover all 6 books of the Starbender series, earning us the I'm Your Biggest Fan achievement. At this point, when we complete a first run with a character and escape in the required manner, we unlock their individual story mission that you can undertake in subsequent runs. This is necessary to earn an achievement, so we embark on the Engineer's story mission, which revolves around her boyfriend getting injured at the Moonworks. She eventually discovers that instead of sending her boyfriend to the hospital, the lab coats experimented on him and turned him into a phantom. Distraught, she of course kills one of the scientists. She also discovered that her boyfriend wanted to make a sculpture of her for her birthday, and in the end, we finished the sculpture for him. It's a poignant story that reveals the true colors of TranStar and how they treat their employees. Next, we also delve into the security guard story, where director contacts him and asks to uncover a Kazma spy who has seemingly infiltrated Pythias. The spy turns out to be none other than Claire Witten, the head janitor of the station. We break into her room in Moonworks only to find a rigged computer that spits neurotoxin in our face and a message from Claire saying that she is already on her way to the escape pods. We are presented with a choice: find the antidote and survive, or catch Claire. If we act quickly, we can actually do both things in time. We override Claire's escape pod and watch it crash on the moon surface, completing the mission and also unlocking Claire as a playable character. With all 5 characters unlocked, we also earned the Squad Goals achievement. From this point, I decide to do a quick run with Claire, aiming to escape with her and unlock her story. She also starts with a plasma blade, which is an awesome new weapon in the DLC that can also shoot psionic projectiles. I also take this opportunity to work on some miscellaneous trophies. I successfully gathered many zombified humans in one place using a Typhon lure and hit 3 of them with one psionic projectile from the blade, unlocking the Psychostatic Efficiency trophy. After that run, I restart with the janitor spy to complete her story mission. It starts with Basilisk, the same handler as our main character, informing her that Claire's cover was blown and we need to destroy all listening devices and get out of the station. We successfully accomplish these tasks, but before we can escape via an escape pod, Basilisk informs us that we need to do one last thing, which is install a virus device in the director's backup module. We head to the director's office, but when we install the virus, it sets off the alarm. Basilisks then call us and says that we are on our own now. Well, typical Kazma, and immediately we get ambushed by 3 laser military operators. I managed to throw a glue charge at them, gluing all 3 in place and also earning the 3 body problem achievement. Very nice.
Assets for dust off, and there's just nothing I can do. I'm sorry. You're on your own.
By the way, 3 Body Problem is also a great book, so I totally recommend it. And from here, I focus on acquiring as many neuromodes as possible and upgrading all 5 characters to their maximum potential. In parallel, I strive to complete the story missions of every character. We have already achieved this with 3 out of 5 characters, so next up is the director. The director's unique method of exfiltration involves uploading her consciousness to a special device, along with all valuable research and documents from Pythias. Upon successfully completing her escape, we see that as she is uploaded, her physical body gets fried by an electric charge, an indication that Claire was successful in her mission in reality as well. We also embark on a quick run with the Volunteer, which involves escaping through the Mimic portal. This is by far the most challenging way to escape. To do this, we need to repair the portal first and then hack the console. Since the Volunteer lacks repairing or hacking skills, we initially need to play as the Engineer to repair the portal and then switch to Spy to hack the console. Upon escaping with the Volunteer, we unlock his story mission, and I decide to complete it immediately. In his story, it becomes apparent that he is being controlled by a telepath who communicates with him using the voice of his son. The son asks us to retrieve his toy before we can escape via the pod. We find a small Matryoshka doll and quickly return to the escape pods. Interestingly, during this mission, all the Typhon become friendly. If we accidentally kill one, we are immediately killed off by the telepath controlling us. So eventually, upon our arrival in the pods, we settle in and fly off to Earth. At the last moment, we see that Matryoshka doll is twitching, indicating that it is actually a mimic that we are essentially shipping back to Earth. Additionally, the telepath appears and thanks us before blowing Andreas' head off. Wow, what a finish. This mission is actually quite intriguing, and it's likely one of the reasons Typhon managed to reach Earth in the first place, among many other possibilities, and I'm pretty sure Andreas was not the only one. And lastly, we complete the Director's story mission, which actually takes only a few minutes. We reach the command center, where Riley wants to test new security towers. To power them up, we need 2 command modules that we are supposed to find around the station, but I opt to craft both of them at the fabricator because I had enough materials. Upon activating the station, we witness it releasing a large wave of energy that kills a Moonshark and all other Typhon in the area. This successfully completes the mission, and we also earn the Quantum Leap achievement for completing all character story missions. And from this point we only need to grind a few more neuromods to maximize the level of all our characters. It is worth mentioning at this stage that the game becomes progressively more and more challenging as you complete more Chasma orders. Initially we are introduced to a corruption meter. Every 10 to 20 minutes, a corruption meter in the upper right corner of the screen will fill up, resulting in stronger versions of enemies respawning in all areas. We can delay the corruption meter by using delay loops, which are dropped by formidable Typhon enemies like Moonsharks, Weavers, Telepath and Technopath. So, if you are feeling confident, make sure to eliminate them when you come across them. Eventually, you will also have the ability to craft delay loops at a fabricator. Furthermore, the game introduces different variables each time you start a simulation. For instance, one area may lack power, while another may be contaminated with radiation, engulfed in fire or electrified. This adds an element of unpredictability to each playthrough, forcing you to adapt on the fly. But by this point, I've become quite proficient with the farming route, uncovering numerous fixed locations for golden chests that contain 2-3 neuromodes. Completing a run through Crater Labs and Crew Annex can yield around 45 to 50 neuromodes, especially considering that we can recycle most of the loot and create additional ones. Since I already had some of the characters almost fully leveled while working on other Chasma orders, it only took me maybe 2.5 runs, approximately 3 hours, to collect the remaining neuromodes and finally earn the Galaxy Brain achievement. And from here we have only one Chasma order left, which is to escape with all 5 characters in one simulation. This requires a bit of planning, but overall it is not super hard to do. Here's my route where I did almost perfectly. If you follow the same one, you can quickly escape with everyone with ease. You can also check the full video of this run on my channel. I will put the link in the description. So, we start with Engineer and get 2 dial loops and 2 to 4 control modules. Everything else is optional, but I would also suggest buying a Microminer Plus chipset if you have one. We go to Central Control Station, check for escape pods, power and hazards. If there is no power in one area, you can go to Power Control Room and fix it with the command module. If you have 2 more control modules, you can use them to power up the tram in one of the areas. And finally, if power and tram are good and you have all 4 control modules, you can use 2 of those to turn on the electricity tower and kill the Moonshark for fun, and some additional points. After that we go to Moonworks and fix the elevator to Mass Driver. We then go to Pythias Labs and loot and kill everything, fix the portal machine and use the recycler fabricator to craft more delay loops. Go to Crew Annex and loot and kill everything there. Use recycler fabricator to craft more delay loops there as well. If you're doing everything right, you will still be at corruption level 1, well maybe 2, if you're a bit unlucky. Pick up a lot of food, drinks and make sure to visit at least one trauma center to pick up anti-rat pills, just in case. Unlock all your items into Operator Companion and escape with Engineer via shuttle. Next, we start with Custodian, Spy, Janitor. Head to Pythias Labs and hack the Mimic Portal console. Go to wherever the escape pod is, unload all your items into the Operator and escape via the pod. Next, we start with the Security Officer. We need to get all food, drinks and anti-rat pills from the Operator, go to Moonworks and load the container. We can use the fixed elevator to get to Mass Driver, and very important thing, unload everything into your operator, especially delay loops. Don't be like me. Before you start the Mass Driver, this is very important. Finally, start the Mass Driver and escape via the container. Next, start as Director, go to Pythias Labs and upload your consciousness. A quick note, you should also get an additional quest objective to scan a specific phantom, but for some reason I did not get it. Most probably I killed all the phantoms or something, but if you get this one, of course you have to do it. Finally, escape via consciousness upload with the Director. And finally, we start with Volunteer. We hurry to Pythias Labs traps and escape via fixed and hacked portal. And that's it. It took me a bit more than an hour to complete this run. I was fairly lucky, especially by finding 2 delay loops right at the start. That basically never happened before. Anyway, since we have completed the simulation, we should get enough points to be over 50k. But for now we only get No One Left Behind and Contract Fulfilled achievements. And finally, in the end, Kazma, of course, betrays us. Who would have thought? Oh no, oh my god, what a twist. We get to some spaceship on the moon's surface and return to Earth actually, bringing our daughter's doll with us. We can see the doll's twitching, indicating that it is actually a mimic. That it is actually a mimic again. No, really. The ending is nice, but it's basically the same thing as we had with the volunteer character. This is weird. Anyway, as soon as the cutscene ends, we also receive the Cryptomancer achievement for completing the game with more than 50k currency, and our journey with Mooncrash comes to an end. Quick stats! Okay, so Platinum for the main game took me around 6 days to complete, 25 hours on the first playthrough and 5 more for the second one. The DLC took me another 5 days, so all in all I clocked in 10 days and 48 hours of in-game time. Did I have fun? Absolutely. But there is a tiny problem with the game, the actual achievements lineup, especially the no needles and split affinity. Basically, I think that someone at Arcane just thought, let me make it harder than it should be, and put split affinity in the game. You see, it makes you complete the game 2 separate times with only human and only Typhon abilities. Can you save scum? Yes. Did I do it? Of course. Did I enjoy the game as much as I could have if I could just play Prey with both human and Typhon skills? Nope. And of course, it's not the problem of the game itself. If you're the normal human being, you don't really care about achievements and stuff, and you just play an awesome immersive sim, enjoy the story. And of course, if you feel invested, you can opt to do the game a few more times for the achievements. My issue is that the split affinity achievement should have been completing the game and leveling everything in one game. There's plenty of neuromodes and you can actually craft them eventually, and I think it is possible to do. Basically, playing the game first time with only human abilities not only made it significantly harder for me, but also locked me out of so much fun. So basically my idea is that it would be better if there was one achievement for completing the game with either only human and Typhon skills, and another achievement for completing the game leveling up everything. And I think it would be more interesting for people to do, and it would be a little bit more fun, in my opinion. And with that being said, we come to the DLC. And I think the main game is okay, but the DLC is awesome. And at some point I realized that I enjoyed Mooncrash more than the main game thoroughly because I could use all the abilities and level everything. So overall, I think Prey is a great game. An amazing immersive sim with a great and unbelievably rich lore. The immersiveness of this game is absolutely top notch. I mean, there are 260 people on the station. Each has a name and profession. And if you find a guy from engineering that's somewhere in life support, you would probably also find an email or note somewhere explaining why he was there and what he was doing. Such small but awesome details are what get to me always when I play such games. It really feels like Talos 1 is a living and breathing, no pun intended, space station. Mooncrash at the same time is an incredible DLC. I absolutely love the roguelite mechanic. The variables are just enough to keep you entertained, and at the same time there are enough static things to have you learn the areas and keep getting better with each run. The only thing I wish was there is some kind of modifiers to tune up the game a little bit, like if you can start the game on corruption level 5, or if you can have areas with 2 or more hazards at the same time. You know, just to have fun and see how messed up the simulation can get, and whether you are able to survive it or not. And of course, if you can, you will earn more points, etc, etc. So, my verdict would be 7.5 out of 10. Great game, and I was really sad to find out that it did not get the attention it deserved at the start, and eventually did not sell as good as it could. So, if you haven't played it, make sure you do and give this game some love and respect it deserves. And yeah, basically that's it. Thank you guys, and I hope you enjoyed this journey as much as I did. I'll see you next time with another Platinum, and of course, if you like this video, leave a comment and subscribe. It helps me a lot and it really gives me the motivation. And of course, yeah, thank you so much again. Stay tuned and cheers!